Magna Carta, English Great Charter, the Charter of English Liberties, granted by King John on June 15, 1215, under threat of civil war and reissued with alterations in 1216, 1217, and 1225, by declaring the sovereign to be subject to the rule of law and documenting the liberties held by free men. The Magna Carta provided the foundation for individual rights in Anglo-American jurisprudence. The Magna Carta. John, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord of Ireland, Duke of Normandy and Aquitaine, and Count of Anjou, to his great archbishops, bishops, abbots, earls, barons, justices, foresters, sheriffs, stewards, servants, and to all his officials and loyal subjects, greeting. Know that before God, for the health of our soul and those of our ancestors and heirs, to the honor of God, the exaltation of the Holy Church, and the better ordering of our kingdom, at the advice of our Reverend Father Stephen, Archbishop of Canterbury, Primate of all England, and Cardinal of the Holy Roman Church, Henry Archbishop of Dublin, William Bishop of London, Peter Bishop of Winchester, Jocelyn Bishop of Bath and Glastonbury, Hugh Bishop of Lincoln, Walter Bishop of Worcester, William Bishop of Coventry, Benedict Bishop of Rochester, Master Pandulph, subdeacon and member of the papal household, Brother Aymeric, Master of the Knighthood of the Temple in England, William Marshal Earl of Pembroke, William Earl of Salisbury, William Earl of Warren, William Earl of Arundel, Alan of Galloway, Constable of Scotland, Warren Fitzgerald, Peter Fitzherbert, Hubert de Burgh, Seneschal of Poitou, Hugh de Neville, Matthew Fitzherbert, Thomas Bassett, Alan Bassett, Philip Donbeny, Robert de Ruppeley, John Marshall, John Fitzhugh, and other loyal subjects. First, that we have granted to God, and by this present charter have confirmed for us and our heirs in perpetuity, that the English Church shall be free, and shall have its rights undiminished and its liberties unimpaired. That we wish this so to be observed appears from the fact that of our own free will, before the outbreak of the present dispute between us and our barons, we granted and confirmed by charter the freedom of the Church's elections, a right reckoned to be the greatest necessity and importance to it, and caused this to be confirmed by Pope Innocent III. This freedom we shall observe ourselves, and desire to be observed in good faith by our heirs in perpetuity. To all free men of our kingdom, we have also granted for us and our heirs forever all the liberties written out below, to have and to keep for them and their heirs, of us and our heirs. Number 2. If any earl, baron, or other person that holds land directly of the crown for military service shall die, and at his death his heir shall be of full age and owe a relief, the heir shall have his inheritance on payment of the ancient scale of relief. That is to say, the heir or heirs of an earl shall pay 100 lira for the entire 100 pounds for the entire earl's barony, the heir or heirs of a knight 100s, at most up for the entire knight's fee, and any man that owes less shall pay less in accordance with the ancient usage of fees. Number 3. But if the heir of such a person is under age, and a ward, when he comes of age, he shall have his inheritance without relief or fine. Number 4. The guardian of the land of an heir who is under age shall take from it only reasonable revenues, customary dues, and feudal services. He shall do this without destruction or damage to men or property. If we have given the guardianship of the land to a sheriff, or to any person answerable to us for the revenues, and he commits destruction or damage, we will exact compensation from him, and the land shall be entrusted to 2 worthy and prudent men of the same fee, who shall be answerable to us for the revenues, or to the person to whom we have assigned them, if we have given or sold to anyone the guardianship of such land, and he causes destruction or damage, he shall lose the guardianship of it, and it shall be handed over to two worthy and prudent men to the same fee, who shall be similarly answerable to us. Number 5. For so long as a guardian has guardianship of such land, he shall maintain the houses, parks, fish preserves, ponds, mills, and everything else pertaining to it. From the revenues of the land itself, when the heir comes of age, he shall restore the whole land to him, stocked with plough teams and such implements of husbandry as the season demands and the revenues from the land can reasonably bear. Number 6. Heirs may be given in marriage, but not to someone of lower social standing. Before a marriage takes place, it shall be made known to the heirs next of kin. Number 7. At her husband's death, a widow may have her marriage portion and inheritance at once and without trouble. She shall pay nothing for her dower, marriage portion, or any inheritance that she and her husband held jointly on the day of his death. She may remain in her husband's house for 40 days after his death, and within this period her dower shall be assigned to her. Number 8. No widow shall be compelled to marry so long as she wishes to remain without a husband, but she must give security that she will not marry without royal consent, and if she holds her lands of the crown, or without the consent of whatever other lord she may hold them of. Number 9. Neither we nor our officials will seize any land or rent in payment of a debt, so long as the debtor has movable goods sufficient to discharge the debt. A debtor's sureties shall not be distrained upon so long as the debtor himself can discharge his debt. If, for lack of means, the debtor is unable to discharge his debt, his sureties shall be answerable for it. If they so desire, they may have the debtor's lands and rents until they have received satisfaction for the debt that they paid for him, unless the debtor can show that he has settled his obligations to them. Number 10. If anyone who has borrowed a sum of money from Jews dies before the debt has been repaid, his heir shall pay no interest on the debt for so long as he remains under age, irrespective of whom he holds his lands. If such a debt falls into the hands of the crown, it will take nothing except the principal sum specified in the bond. Number 11. If a man dies owing money to Jews, his wife may have her dower and pay nothing towards the debt from it. If he leaves children that are under age, their needs may also be provided for on a scale appropriate to the size of his holdings of lands. The debt is to be paid out of the residue, reserving the service due to his feudal lords. Debts owed to persons other than Jews are to be dealt with similarly. Number 12. No scutage or aide may be levied in our kingdom without its general consent, unless it is for the ransom of our person, to make our eldest son a knight, and once to marry our eldest daughter. For these purposes only a reasonable aide may be levied. Aides from the city of London are to be treated similarly. Number 13. The city of London shall enjoy all its ancient liberties and free customs both by land and by water. We also will and grant that all other cities, boroughs, towns, and ports shall enjoy all the liberties and free customs. Number 14. To obtain the general consent of the realm for the assessment of an aide, except in the 3 cases specified above, or a scutage, we will cause the archbishops, bishops, abbots, earls, and greater barons to be summoned individually by letter. To those who hold lands directly of us, we will cause a general summons to be issued through the sheriffs and other officials to come together on a fixed day, of which at least 40 days' notice shall be given, and at a fixed place. In all letters of summons, the cause of the summons will be stated. When a summons has been issued, the business appointed for the day shall go forward in accordance with the resolution of those present, even if not all those who were summoned have appeared. Number 15. In future we will allow no one to levy an aide from his free men except to ransom his person, to make his eldest son a knight, and once to marry his eldest daughter. For these purposes only a reasonable aide may be levied. Number 16. No man shall be forced to perform more service for a knight's fee or other free holding of land than is due from it. Number 17. Ordinary lawsuits shall not follow the royal court around, but shall be held in a fixed place. Number 18. Inquests of novel dissension, mort d'ancestor, and darin presentment shall be taken only in their proper county court. We ourselves, or in our absence abroad, our Chief Justice, will send 2 justices to each county 4 times a year, and these justices, with 4 knights of the county elected by the county itself, shall hold the assizes in the county court on the day and in the place where the court meets. Number 19. If any assizes cannot be taken on the day of the county court, as many knights and freeholders shall afterwards remain behind, of those who have attended the court, as will suffice for the administration of justice, having regard to the volume of business to be done. Number 20. For a trivial offense, a freeman shall be fined only in proportion to the degree of his offense, and for a serious offense correspondingly, but not so heavily as to deprive him of his livelihood. In the same way, a merchant shall be spared his merchandise, a villain the implements of his husbandry, if they fall upon the mercy of a royal court. None of these fines shall be imposed, except by the assessment on oath of reputable men of the neighborhood. Number 21. Earls and barons shall be fined only by their equals, and in proportion to the gravity of their offense. Number 22. A fine imposed upon the lay property of a clerk in holy orders shall be assessed upon the same principles without reference to the value of his ecclesiastical benefice. Number 23. No town or person shall be forced to build bridges over rivers except those with an ancient obligation to do so. Number 24. No sheriff, constable, coroners, or other royal officials are to hold lawsuits that should be held by the royal justices. Number 25. Every county, hundred, wapentake, and tithing shall remain at its ancient rent without increase except the royal demesnes manors. Number 26. If at the death of a man who holds a lay fee of the crown, a sheriff or royal official produces royal letters patent of summons for a debt due to the crown, it shall be lawful for them to seize and list movable goods found in the lay fee of the dead man to the value of the debt, as assessed by worthy men. Nothing shall be removed until the whole debt is paid, when the residue shall be given over to the executors to carry out the dead man's will. If no debt is due to the crown, all the movable goods shall be regarded as the property of the dead man, except the reasonable shares of his wife and children. Number 27. If a free man dies intestate, his movable goods are to be distributed by his next of kin and friends under the supervision of the church. The rights of his debtors are to be preserved. Number 28. No constable or other royal official shall take corn or other movable goods from any man without immediate payment, unless the seller voluntarily offers postponement of this. Number 29. No constable may compel a knight to pay money for castle guard if the knight is willing to undertake the guard in person, or with reasonable excuse to supply some other fit man to do it. A knight taken or sent on military service shall be excused from castle guard for the period of this service. Number 30. No sheriff, royal official, or other person shall take horses or carts for transport from any free man without his consent. Number 31. Neither we nor any royal official will take wood for our castle or for any other purpose without the consent of the owner.